In the heart of Sudan's desert, where the sand whispers secrets older than time, a forgotten pyramid hides a truth no one was meant to find. In 2019, archaeologists uncovered a tomb beneath the Nubian sands, its walls carved with symbols that defy history, language, and reason. Picture a sealed chamber, untouched for 2,500 years, where the air feels alive with a presence that watches. This isn't just a discovery. It's a warning, a crack in the facade of what we think we know. The carvings inside don't belong to any known civilization, and the deeper you go, the more they seem to speak. Ready to uncover what changes everything? The Nubian pyramids of Meroe stand like sentinels in Sudan's desolate biota desert, their sharp edges cutting against a blood-red sunset. Built by the kingdom of Kush between 800 BCE and 350 CE, these structures rival Egypt's in mystery, but dwarf them in number. Over 250 pyramids, many still unexcavated. The Kushites, a fierce and sophisticated people, ruled a trade empire that stretched from the Nile to the Red Sea, their wealth built on gold, iron, and secrets. Unlike Egypt's pharaohs, the Kushite kings and queens, known as Kandakes, wielded power that blended divine authority with ruthless control, their rituals shrouded in shadow. Their capital, Meroe, was a hub of innovation, with a script that remains only partially deciphered, hinting at knowledge they guarded fiercely. In 2019, a team from the University of Khartoum, led by archaeologist Dr. Mahmoud Suliman, stumbled upon a collapsed pyramid, Nuri 20, near the ancient royal cemetery of Nuri. Beneath its rubble lay a hidden chamber, sealed by a stone slab inscribed with a warning in Meroitic script. Enter not, lest you awaken what sleeps. The team ignored it, driven by curiosity and the promise of discovery. Inside, they found no mummies, no treasure. Only walls etched with carvings that twisted the eye, geometric spirals, celestial maps, and figures that seemed to shift in torchlight. These weren't Kushite symbols nor Egyptian, nor anything recorded in the annals of history. Experts dated the tomb to around 500 BCE, but the carvings suggested a knowledge of mathematics and astronomy far beyond the era. The discovery sent ripples through academia, but the Sudanese government quickly restricted access, citing preservation concerns. Whispers began to spread. Local workers claimed the chamber felt wrong, that tools failed, and shadows moved without source. Dr. Suliman's notes, partially leaked, describe a carving of figure with no face, holding a staff topped with a star-like symbol, surrounded by glyphs that seemed to pulse. He wrote of sleepless nights, of feeling watched, of equations in the carvings that hinted at a lost science. The deeper the team dug, the more questions emerged. Who built this tomb, and why was it hidden beneath a collapsed pyramid, as if meant to be forgotten? This is where the story begins to unravel reality itself. The carvings aren't just art. They're a code, a message from a civilization that knew things we've been taught to dismiss. What you're about to hear isn't just history. It's a descent into truths buried by time, by power, by those who fear what they can't control. The Nubian desert holds secrets that could rewrite the past, and they're calling to you now. Stay with me, because what comes next will pull you into a truth no one was meant to know. Comment below, I seek the buried truth. Let's step into the Nubian sands of Sudan stretch endless under a merciless sun, but beneath them lies a secret that hums with power older than empires. The discovery of the hidden tomb in Nuri 20, beneath a collapsed pyramid, has cracked open a mystery no historian can explain. In 2019, Dr. Mahmoud Suliman's team stood in a chamber where the air felt thick, as if the walls themselves were watching. The carving, spiral stars, and faceless figures weren't just art. They were a language, a code that seemed to pulse with intent. This wasn't a tomb for a king or a queen. It was a vault for something forbidden, something the Kushites buried to keep the world from knowing. You're about to step deeper into a truth that feels dangerous to touch. The kingdom of Kush, at its peak from 800 BC to 350 CE, was no mere shadow of Egypt. It was a colossus, its capital Meroe a crossroads of trade and power. The Kushites mastered iron when others faltered, their forges glowing red against the Nile. Their rulers, the Kandakes and kings, were seen as divine, their authority woven with rituals that blended star worship and blood sacrifice. Meroitic script, unique and only half deciphered, hints at a knowledge system that rivaled the Greeks. yet much of it remains locked away. Its secrets guarded by a civilization that vanished into sand. The pyramids of Meroe, smaller but sharper than Egypt's, were not just tombs. They were markers, seals over truths too potent to be shared. The chamber in Nuri 20 was different. Unlike other Kushite tombs, it held no body, no offerings, only those carvings, geometric, precise, almost mechanical. Dr. Suliman's leaked notes describe a central glyph, a spiral intersected by lines, suggesting a map of the heavens, dated 500 BCE but with accuracy rivaling modern astronomy. Nearby, a faceless figure held a staff topped with star, surrounded by symbols that defy translation. Egyptologists, linguists, and mathematicians were called in, but none could crack the code. Some carvings resembled fractals, a concept not formalized until the 20th century. Others hinted at equations, as if the tomb was an archive of knowledge too advanced for its time. The team's excitement turned to unease. Local workers refused to enter, whispering of shadows that move and tools that broke without cause. One archaeologist reported a carving that seemed to shift under torchlight, its lines realigning as if alive. Dr. Suliman himself wrote of dreams, visions of a starlit desert where a faceless figure whispered numbers that burned into his mind. The Sudanese government's sudden lockdown of the site fueled rumors. Was this a cover-up? Why were foreign researchers denied access? Leaked photos showed glyphs that seemed to glow, though experts dismissed it as camera flares. But the locals knew better. They spoke of the Kushites' pact with forces beyond the stars, a power they sealed away. You're falling deeper now, into a truth that feels like a blade against your skin. The Kushites didn't just build pyramids. They guarded something, a knowledge so potent it was buried beneath stone and sand. Was this tomb a warning, a prison, or a message meant for us? The carvings hold answers, but they demand a price. Comment below. I seek the buried truth. Let's descend further into the shadows, where the next revelation waits to grip you, to change you, to show you what the ancients... The Nubian desert is a graveyard of secrets, its sand swallowing truths that empires fought to hide. In 2019, the hidden tomb beneath Nuri 20's collapsed pyramid became a wound in history, bleeding mysteries no one could contain. Dr. Mahmoud Suliman's team stood frozen in a chamber where carvings, spirals, stars, and faceless figures seemed to whisper in a language older than humanity. These weren't just relics. They were a code, a forbidden knowledge that felt alive, watching, waiting. The Kushites, masters of the lost empire, didn't build this tomb to honor the dead. They built it to lock something away, something that could unravel the world. You're stepping closer now, into a darkness where truths cut deeper than bone. The kingdom of Kush was a titan in its time, its power forged in gold, iron, and rituals that bound the divine to the earth. From 800 BCE to 350 CE, Meroe was their heart, a city where star-worshipping priests and warrior queens wielded influence that rivaled Egypt's pharaohs. The Kushite script Meroitic remains a cipher, its secrets only half unlocked by modern scholars. Their pyramids, sharp and steep, weren't just tombs with seals, guarding knowledge they deemed too dangerous for outsiders. Ancient texts Herodotus, Strabo, hint at Kushite priests who studied the heavens, charting stars with precision that baffled their neighbors. But what did they know that they buried so deep? Inside Nuri 20, the carvings defied everything. Dr. Suliman's notes, smuggled out before the site's lockdown, describe a spiral glyph that mapped constellations not visible in 500 BC without advanced optics. Another carving, a faceless figure with a star-topped staff, was surrounded by symbols resembling fractal equations, patterns too complex for the era. A third depicted a grid, like a circuit, suggesting a technology or science lost to time. Experts from Oxford and Cairo were stumped. The glyphs didn't match any known script, Kushite, Egyptian, or otherwise. Some whispered of influences predating even the Sumerians, as if the tomb held echoes of a civilization erased from history. The team's unease grew. Workers reported voices in the chamber, low and rhythmic, like chants from a forgotten tongue. Equipment failed. Cameras glitched, lights flickered, without explanation. Dr. Suliman rolled a carving that seemed to shift, its lines realigning when viewed from different angles, as if it held a message meant only for those who dared look too long. Locals spoke of the Kushites' pact with star beings, a myth of priests who communed with forces beyond the sky, sealing their knowledge in tombs to protect or imprison it. The Sudanese government's silence, barring access, censoring photos, only fueled speculation. Were they hiding a discovery too dangerous to share? You're in the heart of it now, where the sand hides truths that burn to be known. The Kushites didn't just bury their dead. They buried a power, a knowledge that could shift the foundations of what we believe. Was this tomb a vault for secrets too vast for its time, or a warning for ours? The carvings are calling, and their message is clear. Some truths demand a price. Comment below, I seek the buried truth. Let's plunge deeper into the shadows, where the next revelation waits to carve its mark on you, to show you what the ancients feared. The Nubian desert breeds secrets, its sands shifting like a veil over truths too heavy for the world to bear. In 2019, the hidden tomb beneath Nuri 20's crumbled pyramid became a forbidden door, its carvings, spirals, stars, and faceless watchers, etched with purpose that chills the soul. Dr. Mahmoud Suliman's team stood in a chamber where the air pulsed with intent, as if the walls themselves were alive, guarding a knowledge the Kushites buried deep. This wasn't a tomb for bones. It was a prison for ideas, for a power that could unmake empires. The deeper they dug, the more the truth felt like a blade, sharp and unforgiving. You're descending now into a darkness where the past demands to be heard. The kingdom of Kush was a shadow that loomed over the ancient world, its power forged in Meroese forges and temples from 800 BC to 350 CE. The Kushites were no mere imitators of Egypt. They were masters of trade, war, and celestial knowledge. Their queens, Candaces, ruling with divine ferocity. Their Meroitic script, still half a mystery, hints at a science of stars that rivaled any civilization. Ancient Greek historians like Diodorus Siculus wrote of Kushite priests who read the heavens like a book, their rituals blending astronomy with something darker, something whispered in secret chambers. The pyramids of Nuri were their legacy, not just tombs but seals over truths too potent to be unleashed. Inside Nuri 20, the carvings were a riddle wrapped in dread. Dr. Suliman's leaked journal describes a central glyph, a spiral of interlocking stars, mapped with precision that suggests knowledge of orbits unknown until Kepler's time. Another showed a faceless figure, its staff crowned with stars that seemed to glow under torchlight, surrounded by symbols that danced like equations. A third carving, a grid of lines and nodes, resembled a circuit or a map of unseen forces. These weren't Kushite, Egyptian, or anything known. They hinted at a lost culture, perhaps predating the Nile's oldest kingdoms. Linguists and mathematicians failed to decode them, their tools useless against a language that felt alive, shifting, defiant. The team's courage faltered. Workers spoke of whispers in the chamber, not words but vibrations, like a hum from the earth itself. Cameras captured distortions, glyphs that seemed to flicker, shadows that moved without light. Dr. Suliman's notes grew frantic, describing dreams of the desert under alien stars, a faceless figure chanting numbers that burned his mind. Locals, steeped in Nubian lore, warned of the Kushites' pact with sky beings, entities they revered and feared, whose knowledge they sealed in stone. The Sudanese government's lockdown, soldiers at the site, records confiscated, sparked rumors of a cover-up. Why hide a tomb with no treasure? Only carvings that no one could read. You're deeper in the abyss now, where the sand hides a truth that cuts like truth always does, raw, unrelenting. The Kushites didn't just bury their kings. They buried a power that could rewrite the stars. Was this tomb a shrine to forbidden knowledge, or a cage for something that still waits? The carvings are a call, and you're hearing it now. Comment below. I seek the buried truth. Let's fall further into the shadows, where the next truth waits to grip you, to burn. The Nubian desert is a crucible, its sands burning with secrets that sear the soul. In 2019, the hidden tomb beneath Nuri 20's shattered pyramid became a wound in time, its carvings, spirals, stars, and faceless sentinels, whispering truths no one was meant to hear. Dr. Mahmoud Suliman's team stood in a chamber where the walls seemed to breathe, their glyphs pulsing with a purpose that defied history. This was a resting place for kings. It was a vault for knowledge so dangerous the Kushites buried it beneath stone and silence. The deeper you go, the more it feels like a trap, set by ancients who knew the cost of truth. You're in the heart of it now, with forbidden demands to be known. The kingdom of Kush was a titan, its shadow stretching across the Nile from 800 BCE to 350 CE. Meroe, its capital, was a forge of power, gold, iron, and celestial secrets, fueling an empire that humbled Egypt. The Kushites' priests, cloaked in star-woven robes, charted the heavens with precision that stunned ancient travelers like Strabo, who rolled their star knowledge in hushed awe. Their Meroitic script, still half-locked to modern scholars, hints at a science that blended astronomy with rituals darker than sacrifice. The pyramids of Nuri, steep and unyielding, were more than tombs. They were seals, locking away truths that could unmake the order of the world. The carvings in Nuri 20 were a heresy against time. Dr. Suliman's smuggled notes describe a spiral glyph, its lines tracing constellations unseen in 500 BC, as if the Kushites glimpsed stars beyond mortal eyes. Another carving, a faceless figure with a star-crowned staff, stood amid symbols that twisted into fractals, patterns not named until the 20th century. A third, a grid of nodes and lines, suggested a map of energies, like a blueprint for something beyond technology. These glyphs weren't Kushite, nor Egyptian, nor anything known. They pointed to a lost civilization, perhaps older than the Nile itself. Experts called in from Berlin and Khartoum found no answers, only questions that gnawed at their sanity. The team was unraveling. Workers fled, whispering of voices in the dark, low, rhythmic, like a chant from the Earth's core. Cameras failed, capturing only static where glyphs should be. Lights dimmed without cause. Dr. Suliman wrote of nightmares, a desert under a sky of alien stars, a faceless figure reciting equations that burned like fire. Locals spoke of the Kushites' pact with sky shadows, entities whose knowledge came at a price, sealed in tombs to protect or imprison. The Sudanese government's lockdown, soldiers circling the site, records vanishing, fed rumors of a truth too vast for the world. Why guard a tomb with no gold, only carvings that seem to watch? You're halfway down this abyss, where the truth is a blade that cuts both ways. The Kushites hid something, a power, a science, a pact, that could rewrite the stars. You feel it, don't you? The pull of a secret that changes everything. Comment below twice. I seek the buried truth. Let it bind you to this path, because this is where you choose to see. The next revelation is waiting, and it's going to burn through you, leaving only the man who dares to know. The Nubian desert silence is a lie, its sands humming with secrets that claw at the edges of reality. In 2019, the hidden tomb beneath Nuri 20's broken pyramid became a wound that refused to heal, its carvings, spirals, stars, and faceless guardians, etched with a power that feels alive. Dr. Mahmoud Suliman's team stood in a chamber where the air seemed to pulse, the glyphs watching, whispering truths no one could bear. This wasn't a tomb for the dead. It was a cage for knowledge the Kushites feared, a science or a pact they buried to keep the world safe. You're sinking deeper now, into a darkness where the truth burns like a star, demanding you see it. The kingdom of Kush was a colossus, its power radiating from Meroe between 800 BCE and 350 CE. Its rulers, divine kings and fierce Kandakes, wielded authority that blended celestial worship with rituals that chilled even their allies. Ancient sources, Herodotus, Pliny, describe Kushite priests who read the stars like oracles, their knowledge of the heavens rivaling Babylon's. The Meroitic script, still half a mystery, hints at a system of thought that wove astronomy, mathematics, and something darker, perhaps a communion with forces beyond the sky. The pyramids of Nuri weren't just graves. They were locks, sealing secrets that could unravel empires, truths the Kushites guarded with blood and stone. Inside Nuri 20, the carvings were a blasphemy against history. Dr. Suliman smuggled notes, now hoarded by conspiracy circles, describe a spiral glyph that mapped a star system unseen until modern telescopes, dated to 500 BCE. Another, a faceless figure with a star-crowned staff, stood amid symbols that twisted into fractals, equations that seemed to predict cosmic events. A third, a grid of interconnected nodes, resembled a circuit or a map of unseen energies, as if the Kushites knew a force of science is only now grasping. These weren't their symbols, nor Egypt's. They suggested a lost culture, older than the Nile, erased from time. Scholars from Harvard and Khartoum failed to decode them, their logic crumbling against the glyph's defiance. The team was breaking. Workers spoke a hum in the chamber, not sound but a vibration that crawled up their spines. Cameras caught shadows that shouldn't exist, glyphs flickering, lines shifting like a living code. Dr. Suliman's journal grew erratic, describing visions of a desert under a sky of writhing stars, a faceless figure chanting numbers that tore at his mind. Locals whispered the Kushite star-pact, a deal with entities they revered as gods, whose knowledge they sealed in stone to protect or trap. The Sudanese government's lockdown, soldiers sealing the site, Suliman's notes confiscated, sparked rumors of a truth too dangerous to unearth. Why hide carvings that held no gold? Only questions. You're in the abyss now, where the truth is a fire that consumes doubt. The Kushites didn't just bury their dead. They hid a power that could shift the heavens. Was this tomb a shrine to a lost science, or a prison for something that still waits? The carvings are a call, and you're hearing it. Comment below twice, I seek the buried truth. Let it anchor you to this descent, because the next truth is sharper, darker, and it's going to carve itself. The Nubian desert is a furnace of secrets, its sands glowing with truths that burn through time. In 2019, the hidden tomb beneath Nuri 20 shattered pyramid became a crack in reality, its carvings, spirals, stars, and faceless watchers, etched with a power that feels like it's waiting. Dr. Mahmoud Suliman's team stood in a chamber where the air hummed with intent, the glyphs alive, whispering a knowledge the Kushites buried to keep the world from breaking. This wasn't a tomb for bones. It was a seal on a truth so potent it could unravel empires, gods, and minds. You're deeper in the abyss now, where the truth is a blade and it's cutting closer to your core. The kingdom of Kush was a titan, its heart marrowy a beacon of power from 800 BC to 350 CE. Its rulers, divine kings and kandakes, wielded a blend of celestial wisdom and ruthless control, their priests charting stars with an accuracy that stunned ancient chroniclers like Diodorus Siculus. The Meroitic script, still half-locked to scholars, hints at a science that married astronomy to rituals darker than blood. The pyramids of Nuri, stark and steep, were more than graves. They were vaults, sealing knowledge that could shift the heavens. Ancient whispers, Egyptian, Greek, speak of Kushite priests who commune with forces beyond the stars, their secrets buried to protect or imprison. The carvings in Nuri 20 were a defiance of history. Dr. Suliman smuggled notes, now whisper in academic shadows, describe a spiral glyph mapping a star system unseen in 500 BC, its precision chillingly modern. Another, a faceless figure with a star-topped staff, stood amid symbols that coiled into fractals, suggesting mathematics centuries ahead of its time. A third, a grid of nodes like a cosmic circuit, hinted at energies or forces no known culture grasped. These glyphs weren't Kushite, Egyptian, or anything recorded. They pointed to a lost civilization, older than stone, erased from time. Experts from Cairo to Cambridge faltered, their tools useless against a code that seemed to think. The team was fracturing. Workers fled, speaking of a pulse in the chamber, a vibration that clawed at their bones. Cameras caught anomalies, glyphs that flickered, shadows that danced without light. Dr. Suliman's journal turned fevered, describing dreams of a desert under a sky of writhing stars, a faceless figure reciting equations that burned like truth. Locals spoke of the Kushite star-pact, a deal with entities they feared as much as they revered, whose knowledge they sealed in tombs to guard or cage. The Sudanese government's lockdown, soldiers circling, Suliman's team silenced, fed whispers of a cover-up. Why hide a tomb with no treasure, only carvings that seem to watch? You're in the fire now, where the truth is a force that demands your surrender. The Kushites didn't just bury their dead. They had a power that could rewrite the stars, a knowledge that feels alive, waiting. Was this tomb a shrine to a lost science, or a prison for something that still stirs? The glyphs are calling, and you're hearing them. Comment below twice. I seek the buried truth. Let it bind you to this path, because the next revelation is a flame, and it's going to consume everything you thought you knew. The Nubian desert is a shroud, its sands cloaking truths that pulse like a heartbeat from the void. In 2019, the hidden tomb beneath Nuri 20 shattered pyramid became a tear in the fabric of history, its carvings, spirals, stars, and faceless sentinels, etched with a power that feels alive, watching, waiting to be unleashed. Dr. Mahmoud Suliman's team stood in a chamber where the walls seemed to breathe, the glyphs humming with a purpose the Kushites buried to keep the world from breaking. This wasn't a tomb for the dead. It was a cage for a knowledge so dangerous it could burn empires to ash. You're sinking deeper now, into a darkness where the truth is a fire that demands your soul. The kingdom of Kush was a colossus, its capital Nuri a crucible of power from 800 BC to 350 CE. Its kings and candates ruled as gods, their priests weaving star lore into rituals that chilled even the Egyptians. Ancient texts, Strabo, Pliny, hint at Kushite sages who mapped the heavens with precision that defied their era, their Meroitic script a lock on secrets still half unraveled. The pyramids of Nuri, stark against the desert, were not just graves but seals, guarding truths that could unmake the order of the world. Whispers from Greek travelers spoke of Kushite rites that called to forces beyond the stars, pacts sealed in blood and stone protect or imprison. The carvings in Nuri 20 were wound in time. Dr. Suliman smuggled notes, now traded in shadowed corners, describe a spiral glyph charting a star system unseen until the 21st century, its lines too precise for 500 BCE. A faceless figure, staff crowned with a glowing star, stood amid symbols that twisted into fractals, mathematics unborn for millennia. A grid of nodes, like a cosmic web, suggested a sign of energies no culture should have known. These weren't Kushite or Egyptian. They echoed a civilization erased older than the Nile's first flood. Scholars from Oxford to Khartoum faltered, their logic crumbling against glyphs that seemed to shift, to think, to watch. The team was unraveling. Workers fled, whispering a hum in the chamber, a vibration that clawed at their minds. Cameras captured shadows that moved alone, glyphs flickering like a code alive. Dr. Suliman's journal grew frantic. Speaking of dreams where a desert bloomed under alien skies, a faceless figure chanting numbers that seared his soul. Locals told the Kushite skyelf, a pact with entities they revered as gods, whose knowledge they buried to shield or trap. The Sudanese government's lockdown, soldiers sealing the site, Suliman's notes vanishing, fed rumors of a truth too vast to be free. Why guard a tomb with no gold? Only carvings that seem to breathe. You're in the fire's heart now, where the truth is a blade that cuts through everything you know. The Kushites had a power, a science, a pact that could reshape the heavens. Was this tomb a shrine for forbidden knowledge, or a prison for something that still stirs? The glyphs are a call and you're answering. Comment below twice. I seek the buried truth. Let it bind you to this descent, because the next revelation is a flame that will burn away the world. The Nubian desert is a tomb of truths, its sands pulsing with secrets that claw at the edges of sanity. In 2019, the hidden chamber beneath Nuri 20 shattered pyramid became a wound in time, its carvings, spirals, stars, and faceless watchers, etched with a power that feels alive, hungry, demanding to be known. Dr. Mahmoud Suliman's team stood in a vault where the air vibrated with intent, the glyphs whispering a knowledge the Kushites buried to keep the world from shattering. This wasn't a tomb for kings. It was a prison for a truth so vast it could burn the heavens. You're at the edge of the abyss now, where the truth is a fire that will mark you forever. The kingdom of Kush was a giant. Its capital Meroe affords a divine and forbidden power from 800 BC to 350 CE. Its rulers, kings and candates, were gods incarnate, their priests weaving star lore with rituals that made even Egyptian scribes flinch. Ancient accounts, Herodotus, Diodorus, speak of Kushite sages who read the cosmos like a scroll, their Meroitic script a cipher for secrets still locked away. The pyramids of Nuri, stark and unyielding, were more than graves. They were seals, locking truths that could unravel the fabric of empires. Whispers from the past hint at Kushite rites that called entities beyond the stars, pacts sealed in shadow to guard or cage a power too great for mortals. The carvings in Nuri 20 were a blasphemy against time. Dr. Suliman smuggled notes, now whispered in secret circles, describe a spiral glyph mapping a star system unseen until modern telescopes. Its precision chilling for 500 BCE. A faceless figure, its staff crowned with star that seemed to pulse, stood amid symbols coiling into fractals, mathematics unborn for centuries. A grid of nodes, like a cosmic circuit, hinted at a science of energies no culture could have known. These glyphs weren't Kushite, Egyptian, or anything recorded. They pointed to civilization erased, older than the Nile's first breath. Scholars from Berlin to Cairo crumbled, their minds buckling under a code that seemed to think, to watch, to wait. The team was breaking. Workers fled, speaking of a hum in the chamber, a vibration that gnawed at their souls. Cameras caught shadows that danced without light, glyphs flickering like a living script. Dr. Suliman's journal turned fevered, describing visions of a desert under a sky of writhing stars, a faceless figure chanting equations that burned like truth. Locals whisper the Kushite star oath, a pact with entities they feared as gods, whose knowledge they sealed in stone to protect or imprison. The Sudanese government's locked down, soldiers encircling the site, Suliman's work erased. Fed rumors of a cover-up. Why hide a tomb with no treasure? Only carvings that seem to breathe, to judge. You're in the fire's core now, where the truth is a blade that cuts through all you've known. The Kushites had a power, a science, a pact, a presence that could rewrite the stars. Was this tomb a shrine to a lost truth, or a cage for something that still stirs, waiting for you? The glyphs are a call and you're answering. Comment below twice. I seek the buried truth. Let it bind you to this path. Because the final revelation is a flame that will consume everything you thought was real. The Nubian desert is a void. Its sands a curtain over truths that sear the soul and shatter the mind. In 2019, the hidden chamber beneath Nuri 20's broken pyramid became a wound that bled secrets, its carvings, spirals, stars, and faceless sentinels, etched with a power that feels alive, relentless, calling to those who dare to listen. Dr. Mahmoud Suliman's team stood in a vault where the air pulsed like a heartbeat, the glyphs whispering a knowledge the Kushites buried to keep the world from burning. This wasn't a tomb. It was a prison for a truth so vast it could consume the heavens and leave nothing but ash. You're at the bottom of the abyss now, and the truth is a fire that will change you forever. The kingdom of Kush was a titan, its heart Marrero a crucible of divine and forbidden lore from 800 BC to 350 CE. Its rulers, kings and candates, were gods in flesh, their priests weaving star wisdom with rituals that made empires tremble. Ancient scribes, Strabo, Herodotus, row of Kushite sages who charted the cosmos with eerie precision, their Meroitic script a lock on secrets half unraveled today. The pyramids of Nuri, stark against the sands, were more than graves. They were seals, guarding truths that could tear the world apart. Whispers from antiquity speak of Kushite rites that reach beyond the stars, pacts sealed in blood and shadow to harness, or cage of power no mortal should touch. The carvings in Nuri 20 were a wound in history. Dr. Suliman smuggled notes, now a relic of forbidden circles, describe a spiral glyph mapping a star system unseen until a Hubble's gaze, its lines defying 500 BCE. A faceless figure, staff crowned with a star that pulsed in torchlight, stood amid symbols twisting into fractals, mathematics unborn for millennia. A grid of nodes like a cosmic web, hinted at energies or forces no civilization could know. These glyphs weren't Kushite, Egyptian, or anything human.